Ambassador Zixathera's membrane rippled with barely contained horror as she reviewed the planetary classification report for the third time. The data had to be wrong. It simply had to be. Class 13 Deathworld, she whispered, her translator struggling to convey the appropriate dread in Standard Galactic. The Council will never believe this. Her assistant, a young Vrelian named Kos, shifted nervously on his 6 legs. Ambassador, the sensors have been recalibrated 4 times. The readings are accurate. Earth's gravitational force alone would crush most sapient species within hours. Zixathera floated toward the observation port, her bioluminescent body pulsing with anxiety. Below, the blue-green planet rotated peacefully, deceptively beautiful. Clouds swirled across its surface like silk scarves in a gentle breeze. It looked almost habitable, almost. "Let me understand this correctly," she said, pulling up the holographic data. "The atmospheric composition contains 21% free oxygen?" "Yes, Ambassador. It's essentially a universal oxidizer, highly corrosive. Their entire planet is slowly rusting. The gravity? 0.98 standard Gs, that's nearly twice what most spacefaring civilizations evolved under." Zixathera felt her chromatophores darken with disbelief. "And the native predators?" Kos manipulated the console, bringing up a cascade of images. "Where do we begin?" "Creatures that hunt in coordinated packs. Apex predators with crushing jaw strength that can exceed 2,000 kilograms per square centimeter. Microscopic organisms that invade host bodies and consume them from within. Serpents that inject hemotoxic venom. 8-legged ambush hunters that can survive for months without sustenance. Surely the dominant species avoids these creatures." "No, Ambassador." Kos's voice carried a note of incredulity. "Humans, that's what they call themselves. They domesticated several predator species. They keep them in their dwelling spaces. For companionship?" Zixathera's entire body flickered in the equivalent of a shocked gasp. "They live with predators?" "Voluntarily? It gets worse. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. They don't have natural weapons or armor, no venom or claws. Instead, they simply outlast their prey. They can run for hours in their planet's crushing gravity, in heat that would kill most species, tracking wounded animals until the prey literally collapses from exhaustion." The ambassador accessed the next section of the report and immediately wished she hadn't. "This can't be accurate. Their planet's weather systems?" "Confirmed. Humans endure temperature variations from -40 to +50 degrees Celsius. Their world spawns rotating columns of wind that level entire settlements. Waves of water as tall as buildings that destroy their coastal habitats. Electrical storms that discharge billions of joules of energy. And they rebuild, every time." Zixathera thought of her own homeworld, where temperature varied by perhaps 5 degrees annually, where the strongest breeze was considered cause for alarm. How did they ever develop civilization? That's the fascinating part, Ambassador. They didn't just develop civilization, they thrived. When food was scarce, they learned to cultivate it. When predators threatened them, they crafted weapons. When their environment tried to kill them, they built shelters, created clothing, harnessed fire. Fire? Zixathera nearly extinguished her own bioluminescence in shock. They mastered combustion. On a high-oxygen world, they use it for everything. Heating, cooking, metalworking, entertainment. Human children are taught to control fire before they reach maturity. The ambassador reviewed the military assessment section with growing unease. Humans had been contacted 3 cycles ago by a Draxian mining operation. The Draxians, confident in their superior technology and physical strength, had attempted to establish a foothold on Earth without formal negotiations. The humans had politely but firmly declined. When the Draxians insisted, the humans had demonstrated why evolution on a Class 13 Deathworld produced a very particular type of survivor. The Draxian combat suits, designed to withstand the vacuum of space and weaponry that could vaporize steel, proved inadequate against human ingenuity. They fought with coordinated tactics, adapted on the fly, and displayed a disturbing comfort with personal risk. The most unsettling part? Humans considered the engagement a minor border skirmish. They hadn't even mobilized their primary military forces. "There's one more thing, Ambassador," Kos said quietly. "The xenopsychology team's report. I'm almost afraid to ask. Humans form emotional attachments to almost anything. Other humans certainly, but also their predator companions, their dwelling places, even inanimate objects. They create art about loss and longing. They write poetry about mortality, They philosophize about the meaning of suffering. So they're sentimental. That might be their weakness. No, Ambassador. That's their greatest strength. Because they bond so readily, they form cohesive social groups. Because they contemplate mortality, they act with urgency. Because their world constantly tries to kill them, they've learned to cooperate on scales that most species can't imagine. They've turned a Deathworld into a garden through sheer collective will. Sixth Era was silent for a long moment, watching Earth rotate below. Somewhere down there, billions of these impossible creatures were going about their lives, probably complaining about weather that would hospitalize a Vrelian, or gravity that would cripple a Zentari. "What are you thinking, Ambassador?" Koss asked. "I'm thinking," she said slowly, "that we need to revise the classification system. Class 13 Deathworld seems inadequate, and I'm thinking that we should send a diplomatic envoy immediately, with full honors and utmost respect. Because they're dangerous? Because they survived. Because they didn't just survive, they built civilizations, created beauty, reached for the stars. Any species that can turn that planet into a home isn't just dangerous, Koss. They're extraordinary." She began drafting her report to the Galactic Council, choosing her words carefully. Humanity would be contacted properly this time, with all the respect due to survivors of the impossible. After all, anyone who could thrive on a Class 13 Deathworld deserved humanity's place among the stars. The question wasn't whether humans belonged in the galactic community. The question was whether the galactic community was ready for them.
And